To be honest, this wasn't really a flagship week for the Overwatch League. Most of the games were pretty trash. Only 2 of them went to map 5 and 1 other went to map 4 with a tie. So there's only 3 games that had a winner takes all final map compared to the other 2 weeks, which had like 6 and 5 respectively for week 1 and week 2. The parity seemed to die down a little bit this week. The teams that were supposed to win usually won, with the exception of like Boston beating Seoul, but that's pretty much been the biggest disappointment so far, is how bad Seoul is and honestly how bad all the returning teams are. You look at the bottom 8 teams in the standings right now, 7 of them are returning teams from last year, and that's honestly pretty sad to have that many teams represented at the bottom. It is early and there's still teams that could move up, like Houston Outlaws. Their record doesn't speak very well for them. They could easily be like 4-1 right now. They lost 2 map 5s early on, but other than that, teams have been severely underperforming, particularly the Gladiators and Seoul Dynasty. Like I said earlier, the Gladiators in the offseason pretty much only upgraded. You knew they were losing Fissure, but besides that, like, they got 2 of the best players you could ask for if you're a Gladiators fan, really, and they've pretty much just done nothing but underwhelm all year long. You think by now that they would have like separated from the middle of the pack, beat a very good team, announcing themselves as like one of the best, but like they're not even like a middle of the pack team so far. They look pretty mediocre. Like, that's the best word to describe them. Like, the pieces are there, but they just seem like they can't win when it counts, you know? And the Seoul Dynasty, they just seem like they've picked up where they left off last year. The Dynasty and the Gladiators really both seem to fall in the same category where like, you see their rosters and the pieces are all there, but they're just not winning the games. Like, they just consistently play down to their competition, make misjudgments. The team that's probably shocked the most people for being so bad is the Valiant. I personally didn't think they were as good as people said they were going to be going into the season. Like, everyone predicted them to make the playoffs. I didn't think they would make. They did nothing but downgrade in the offseason, and really, if there's a meta where they were going to be successful, it was going to be this one where they didn't need to worry about having a shaky DPS line. But still, they're doing horribly, and it really is shocking. I thought they'd be a middle of the table team, not one of the worst teams, and that's clearly what they've been all year. They almost beat NYXL, but besides that, they really don't look that much better than the Justice so far. The Justice, they were unanimously picked to be the worst team, and they're kind of living up to the hype so far. Good job, Justice. Everyone still kind of has similar records in the middle so far, but it's still early. That's kind of to be expected. By the end of the stage, it'll clearly sort itself out. The chaos has kind of died down right now, and you can see that just by how many lopsided games there are. It's not going to map 5 a bunch. Teams are starting to show that they're improving, and teams that were doing great kind of like falling off a little. Even though it is still early, having all these teams at the bottom being returning teams is a really bad look for the league, because especially at the beginning, it was kind of expected that the returning teams, they would have the advantage because they've been familiarized with the environment and all that stuff, and that if there's going to be a really big gap in play between the expansions and the returning teams, it would be immediately visible at the beginning. But there just never has been. It's just always been the same throughout, and that makes people question, like, is there really a difference between the Overwatch League and Contenders? It's hard to find a reason to say why a team like the Fusion University couldn't go into the league and do exactly what other expansion teams are doing, and just not dominating, not being the best, but certainly competing. They're not. You can't really say at this point that the Fusion University or another Contenders team in Korea would just be outclassed, because no team that has entered so far that is made up of purely Contenders players has been outclassed. Every single team has competed except for the Justice, which is not even like majority Contenders players. It's like all the rejects from the Overwatch League, and it puts a lot of doubt into the whole system, you know. But other than the bad optics regarding the returning teams sucking so far, Overwatch League decided to not let Action Esports do highlights anymore, and it's just been universally panned as like the worst decision ever. No one agrees with it. Like, it would make sense if Overwatch League did similar content. They made 10-minute highlights, and Action Esports just kind of looked like they were leeching off of it, pretty much posting the same things just so they could get more traction on their site, and that Overwatch League was the one with the most views, but that's not even close to true. Action Esports, for most of their highlight videos, has at least 30,000 viewers per video. Like, that's their bare minimum they get for their highlights, and at most they can get up to 100,000. The Overwatch League ones that they've been doing at most get like 13,000. They don't even get half of the viewers the minimum videos on Action Esports get. So, and they're way worse too. They're 2 minutes long compared to 10 minutes long. So, not only are you shrinking your reach on YouTube by doing this, you are making people hate you, and you are making yourself do more work to compete with people that were doing the work for you for free. So you're literally going to have to spend more money for your own people to do the work that was being done before by someone else, and for people to hate it anyway because you let the people doing the right thing, you force them to stop. You literally have no way out except to backtrack. There's nothing you can do. Even if you start making 10-minute videos, people aren't going to be that happy about it, and people probably won't even know about it because people don't even watch your YouTube channel. The most views you ever get on like any video on your YouTube channel, Overwatch League, is like 25,000 viewers. Why do you think that's going to change just because you like start actually making highlight videos? It won't. And it sucks even more because the timing already screws over so many people out of watching games live. Pretty much all of Europe can't watch games live. Even people on the East Coast reasonably can't watch like a couple games a night because they start at like midnight. So the main way people consume games most of the time is through these highlights, and now they're just watching 2-minute blips on your YouTube channel that no one likes. Like, you just look through the comments, all of them are negative. You look at the like to dislike ratio, it was like 1 to 2 in favor of dislikes. It was awful. So yeah, good thing Dafran made a gigantic play that made everyone hyped, because otherwise there'd be like no silver lining to this week, because it's kind of put a damper on things because of the bad games, the returning teams not being any good, especially the Los Angeles teams, and at least New York is doing good, so that's like the last bastion of hope for the returning teams, that New York is still consistently the best. Best of the week.
They do. They back up a little bit more here. Oh, Roy's in the corner. He's right behind him. Shadow! Oh, it's nasty! That's a 6-man Shadow. Oh, Nishawa.
And Bumper keeps playing well. You're going to see all different types of stuff like this. You know.
What is this?
What are they doing right now?
That is interesting.
That is a really.
You get over the roof there?
Oh my!
Oh
my! What a play! What a grab!
Tosses in the grab. They're gonna make it work. And Cruz taken out by the ensuing self-destruct. Atlanta Reign breaking through that in the most stylish way I've ever seen. Ben Best in quite a bit of trouble. We must flee. Die in the point. That's how it works. And well, I learned something new there, Monte Cristo.
That was incredible. What a play from the Atlanta Reign. Death from above with the Graviton Surge.
But the EMP is going to look to shut down Luffy.
Does have that. Transcendent's ready to go. EMP gonna come out, and
we'll have to get a replay on that one.
Yeah, please.
Not entirely sure what happened there.
I think that there was a big old Charlie Niner.
More difficult push to deal with.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, Young Jin.
Oh my God. That was actually a C9.
That is a big old C9.